It always comes to this. More nice shit. Hello there, guys. Here to do another tattoo progress update today. I won't waste any time getting into this one because obviously I can't really hide what I've gotten done anyway. Sorry, just messing with the camera here. Where I last left off, I had mentioned that I had an appointment coming up with Terry this week, and I was hoping I wouldn't regret it. What I meant by that was sometimes when I shave my hair off, there's this sudden like, what did I do? You know, these days, I cut my hair or shave my hair, it's actually feels like more permanent or semi-permanent than tattoos do to me. That might make sense to people that understand how much I've changed my tattoos over the years. Like, I can really just do whatever I want with them, seemingly. So for me, sorry, just messing with the camera again. For me, it's like my hair takes me longer to change than my tattoos do, oddly enough. And so I took the plunge. I've had all kinds of things going on my head for a long time that I wasn't particularly happy with. A lot of the line work that was done in this circlet up here was too small, too close together. So some of it had blobbed up, and it wasn't really reading correctly anymore. And it's the kind of thing that you could only really address when you're bald, because so much of it was under the hair, and two, there was quite a bit of like filigree and just random stuff left over all over the sides of my head and the back of my head. And there was some stuff that was done on there that was done as filler. And since the back of my head used to be red, all the filigree was kind of tied into that. It was all red with it. And when we blacked it out, it never really made sense. It still had the same shape, but it had none of the details. So there's a lot of things that were just kind of like in motion and never really dealt with. And I always knew that eventually I would have to sort it out. And so, being that we've done so much work over black, I figured that the best way to address it would be to keep that same theme going. Black out all the negative spaces in between everything and all the things that didn't make sense, and kind of start fresh, more or less. It's funny to me, like, people are going to find it interesting that I would consider this blacking out to be a way to start fresh, but I always thought of it as that. Even as far back as 2019, when I first started the main blackout bodysuit, I talked quite a bit about like the rebirth or starting over with blackout. And so this isn't an end, it's a beginning. All of this stuff was black at one point, and so it won't be forever. With all of that out of the way, this took about 2.5 hours. There's actually a lot of black. We used 27 mag for a lot of it. It's just, we had the 49 mags, but heads are too round to use them, so this was primarily done with 27s. In some areas we're done with even smaller mags. We lined around the bat, but this bat needs work too. So Rick and I are going to do a session on the bat. I asked Rick if he cared if Terry did it, but Rick really wants to touch up the bat. It's his design and it's one of his favorite tattoos, so he is a little faded. He's actually not as faded as he looks right now, but next to the fresh black, that'll make anything look washed out. I hope I did a good job showing it off. It's really hard to see the top of your head when you're filming, so hopefully that showed him off. Yeah, so Rick wants to do that. I told him just quite a bit darker. I want him to be, even darker than he was last time. We went pretty dark last time because head tattoos do seem to lighten up quite a bit. But I think we need to get rid of the gray wash, so I think it needs to be just primarily black work in there. keep the same overall structure of it, but just darken them up overall. Yeah, I had showed off the back of my head when we redid the rows. There were a few spots in here that we covered in black. The idea was to cover all that with red. You can probably see there that black that was fresh just a month and a half ago here has already mellowed out enough that we could have gone over it. So with that, it should be no saying so that all of this is going to do the same thing for the most part. So it's shiny and it's wet and it's bloody right now and it's super dark and it looks like a lot right now. But it won't for long. I already think that it looks better than it did. That being said, I know what this looks like a week from now, so it's going to fade quite a bit. And some of this stuff is it's going to be a lot more moderate than it is currently. That being said, if I were to have done this with this as the end goal, I don't know if I would be happy with that. I'm just a greater good guy. I know what we're going for, so I will suffer through the short term of it and wear the scuba diver suit. My wife was always worried about me blacking out my entire head because she thought it would make me look like a scuba diver or like I'm wearing a scuba suit. I don't think that it does, but people will make up their minds about that. Session was a little bit painful in places. For whatever reason, the left side of my head hurt more than the right. Sometimes that happens. I don't know why, but it wasn't overly painful. But the right side would have been more like a 5, whereas the left was more like a 7. I've had my head tattooed now, I don't even know how many times overall, but over 10 times for sure. Not the same areas, but I've been in and around these areas between 10 and 20 times for sure. And I always liked head tattoos. There was a guy who was getting a lot of head tattoo work done in here last year, and I was always jealous. I wanted to do that too, but I have this weird juxtaposition where I want hair. I really like having hair, but I also like being bald, and I don't know what suits me better. It seems like some people like me better bald, some people like me better with hair. I always think I look quite a bit older without hair, so probably what will happen is by the time I get this all reworked and straightened out, I'll probably be ready to grow it in again. I might wear it, bald for a little while after we get it sorted out, but I'll probably be getting this done and then taking a break from bald again. But the nice thing is I have a bunch of hats to wear too, so on days I don't want to be baldy, I can hide it pretty easily in my array of hats. All that said, the plans for my head, they're not concrete yet, but I think I want to do a crown of thorns around the bat, similar to what we have under my neck and on my arm, and we can frame around the bat that way, and then we'll probably have some more thorns on the back of my head to tie it all together, and then it'll be in places where the black, the negative, will just fill with red velvet. So it will be that dark red and thorns, and it'll blend right into everything else. So again, in keeping with the theme I've already established on my head and my neck and my arm, we'll just build that red off the back of the side here and connect it all up. I think there's probably 2 sessions in there for all of that. Maybe one big one. Today we got a lot done, so but that being said, I can't do that until this black fades enough. I think we'll probably wait 2 or 3 months, and I think it'll be good to go, because as I said, the black we did here is already ready to be gone over, and that was just, I think we did that in March or April. Maybe it's middle of March, I think. Middle to late March, and we're at the end of May here, close to the end of May. So 2-3 months should be all we need to wait before we can start working over top of this. And as I said, Rick and I want to redo the bat, so there'll be between 2 and 4 sessions on my head from here to get all of that sorted out. And I think by the time I get there, it will look very good. It will look a lot more composed and together than it does currently. With that said, I already like the way that it looks more. It looks too extreme right now with the fresh black. I just got done saying this recently in the video, but I don't actually like the way fresh black looks. It's almost always too hard. I know a lot of people really like the look of like a fresh blackout sleeve or something, but I don't. I like it when it chills out. I like knowing what I'm living with. And so I'm not really a big fan of the shiny, hard black that it is. I'll like it more when it gets to the same tone as the back of my head. It's not going to be, I think it'll be a little less solid up here because I bled more on the left. So I don't know what that is, but it hurt more and bled more on the left side. But it'll probably be a little spotty, and I don't think that I'm going to touch that up because I believe it'll be a little easier to cover with red and thorns if it's spottier anyway. So when you're not going to be using any of that hard black, you may as well get rid of it, right? You're not going to worry about making it super, super solid. I think it'll be solid enough. Terry did want to black this out today too, so that we could go over it with the red like we have here. But I think that the colors are similar enough. They're not quite the same. That I think that we can probably tie it in. I don't think we need to go that step. But if we do, we do. But we'll do that later. Yeah. I'm sure some people are going to say it looks pretty silly right now and whatever else, but those same people will probably agree when I'm done that it was worth it. It's just, I'm willing to brave the in-betweens, and a lot of times in life, in order to get the reward, you have to suffer some of the journey, and I'm always a big journey guy, so this is just one more big project to work on, and I like getting my head tattooed anyway, so if it means I look like whatever I look like for a little while, then that's the way it is. Yeah, other than that, kind of enjoying being bald. Kind of had the instant pang of regret when I shaved my head, but we're here now and we're doing it, and I'll get this all behind me this year. It'll all be sorted out in a way that it'll look even better when, like, even when I have hair, because this stuff, just a bit of it that was sticking out even when I had hair, it always bugged me that none of it made sense. So we'll get this all done. We'll get things in there that work with where I'm at now. We'll get them solid, and then I'll maybe grow my hair out again. So I am committing, at least for the near future, probably the rest of the year, to be bald here. And hopefully by 2023, we'll have it all good to go, and maybe I'll start growing it out again because I do like having hair. That being said, it's nice being able to see this guy again, even though he's faded a bit. It's one of my favorite tattoos. It's just a shame that head tattoos do tend to lighten up quite a bit. So if you're thinking about getting a head tattoo yourself, just keep that in mind. They are a bit of maintenance. Unless you don't care about them getting a little lighter or whatever. They are going to take a little bit extra love and care over the years to maintain. But with that, I will show off. This is starting to peel. So this will be fully peeled by tomorrow. You can see the fresh black is fading to that softer black, like I discussed earlier. And overall, it's not going to change that much. It's just going to be a bit softer, a bit lighter. All right, well, feel free to weigh in on whether you like the direction my head tattoo has gone in, or whether you think I look like a turtle, or any of those other things that I often think when I'm bald. I often think I look older, a little broader, and kind of like Franklin the Turtle when I'm bald. But hey, people often seem to dig it. Like whenever I put up these poll stories on Instagram of I'm thinking about cutting my hair. Do you like me better bald or with hair? Almost everyone always says bald. So I don't know. I'm on the fence. Let me know in the comments what you think, and I'll talk to you guys again soon.